morning, everyone. I guess this is on. Happy Rotary Thursday. It's great to see everyone this morning. Bright and shining faces. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Can you all hear me on the Zoom side? Thumbs up if you can, like my son's teacher says. Okay, great. Bill is going to lead us in the invocation this morning. So we'll go ahead and turn it over to Bill.
Okay, I know God will be able to hear me, but this is a test. Can y'all hear me? Thumbs up, Peter. All right, good deal. All right, if y'all join me in prayer. Dear God, we thank you for today. We thank you for the opportunity together. Even though this is difficult times on many fronts, for many of us, we know that with our faith in you and our trust in you, that we can be a light for others, whether it be in our home, via Zoom call, in our workplace, in the grocery store. And we just ask that you continue to guide us and lead us, and just keep us safe and bless the work that Rotarians do around the world. In your name we pray these things. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. If you don't mind leading us in the pledge as well, and I'll turn this to face the flag.
All right, and I'll do the best I can as well. If you'll join me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
All right. Just a reminder on the Zoom side, mute your microphones if you're not speaking, and if you want to speak, just unmute and go ahead. We'll start with guests and visiting Rotarians. So I see one guest over here. So Manuel is back. Manuel, nice to see you again. This is his second meeting, so nice to see Manuel again. He's a guest at Carrie's. Manuel, if you don't mind coming up here and introducing yourself really quickly, because there's probably some new people that haven't met you. So just a quick word, not as, if it wasn't for the Zoom side, you can just do it from right there, but.
All right, no problem. Hello, everyone, again. And for the people I did not get the opportunity to meet, my name is Manuel Curry. I live in Huntsville, soon to be in Madison. I have a house built. Married, no kids, ex-military, God-fearing, and I think that's pretty short, right? Yeah. Thank you.
And if I remember correctly, you have some fur babies. Is that right? Golden doodle. Okay. All right. Thank you, Manuel. Do we have any other guests? I see Roger on there. Do we have any other guests that are non-Rotarians? Aside from Manuel? Okay. Any visiting Rotarians today? Not seeing any on this side. Morning, Roger. How are you? Of course, Roger is not a visiting Rotarian. He's part of our Sunset Club, but it's always good to see him. Anybody else? All right.
Ed is on.
Who's on?
Ed?
Oh, Ed. Hey, Dr. Nichols. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
Fantastic. Good to have you on. Okay. We'll go ahead and move over to brags and announcements. We're not doing brag bucks yet until everybody's joining us, but if you're inspired to give $1, Fred will take it and hand it over to Bob if you so choose. But does anybody have any announcements? I know we have one announcement. I'll go ahead and start with that. Bob, if you don't mind coming up, and Bob met with Art recently, so he's going to give us a little update on Art Shaw.
Yeah, real quick. Last week, Fred Davey and Bill Drake and myself.
I'll come in a minute. Make the full disclosure.
Can you hear me? Okay, last week, Bill Drake, Fred Davey, and I went over to Art's for his 81st birthday, and it was very nice. Art's in pretty good spirits. We were able to swap war stories, and of course, he misses being here, but it's just not going to happen. But it was good to see him, and we had a lot of good talk. We were there about an hour, had cake and ice cream, and so we really enjoyed the activity.
And Art kind of came up in our board meeting this last Tuesday, and not to go too much into it, but we're going to see if there's anything we can do to help Art participate in any way he can, whether from home. So we're just going to see if there's anything we can do. He's a lifelong Rotarian, one of the strongest members of this club. So we're just going to try to do something so Art can join us whichever way he can. So we're just going to explore that a little bit. Okay, any other announcements, brags, anything good happening, good vacations, people out and about? All right. Anything on the Zoom side?
Well, as you know, I'm in Florida. So that's about all I have.
I think you have another Floridian there who just had a grandbaby. We see the picture, Dennis. Proud grandpapa.
We're actually in Atlanta.
Mr. President.
Yes.
We evacuated
Hello,
to
Mr.
Atlanta,
President.
not a Florida person.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm glad Dennis is safe, even though they had to evacuate for a second. So it looks like everybody's back home. Okay. Any other announcements before we move on to club business?
Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Nichols.
I just want to congratulate our teachers and our staff in Madison City. Nietzsche, a national ranking firm, named Madison City the top school district in the state of Alabama, and every one of our schools was in the top 10%. Bob Jones was the #2 high school in the state, and James Clemens #5, and just goes to show the great work. First of all, Mr. Parker did as superintendent before he retired, and but all the teachers and staff people at the school. And so we're just real excited about that.
That is fantastic news. And selfishly, I think my son's school, Madison Elementary, came out #2 for public schools in the state. So great job to Dr. Nichols and the school system and the teachers. Okay, we'll go ahead and move over to club business. And the first order of club business is we have a new member. So Kris, if you don't mind coming up, and Dr. Davis. So I think, yeah, if you don't mind coming, you find on that side? Yeah, I think on this side. So Dr. Davis has joined us for a couple of meetings now. She's Alabamian, former educator. She's a former principal of Monrovia Elementary School, the headmaster for First Missionary Baptist Christian Academy, other accolades with Huntsville, University of Alabama in Huntsville, and highly educated. She is currently the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, the Epsilon Gamma Omega chapter. I think I said that correctly. And when we talked, her Zoom meetings are a little bit different from ours. I think they have 400 members, somewhere around there. And there's usually around 250 or more people on those Zoom chats. So I told her this one's a little bit more informal than that one. So we are glad to have Dr. Davis here. And we love that she is joining our club. And of course, Kris was her sponsor. So we'll try to social distance. Kris is going to do the pinning. And you can do that a little bit later unless you can. We can pretend.
Somebody take a picture.
I'm gonna get that. I will try to get a good picture of that. And we'll do it. Thank you. And it's official, not to be. Here you go. Welcome to the club. Okay. We had a board meeting this Tuesday. We talked about some good things, and I'll share those with the club, just so the board's not the only one aware of those. On the international side, I don't know if we have Amy on there somewhere. Yeah, I think I saw Amy. But John's going to share a little bit of something we decided to do on the international side. So John, you don't have to use this box.
Like Pat's box. Hey, good morning, everybody. Great to see everyone. Great to see everybody on the Zoom call. So normally in international projects, we travel to Honduras in February, typically. And of course, because of the coronavirus, because of the lack of a vaccine, the reality of traveling in this Rotary year, which is 2021 really is not an option. So we've decided that we're not going to be going to Honduras this year because of those reasons, but we'll be planning on going certainly when we can. We get a vaccine, we get to go maybe next year at some point in the 2021-2022 Rotary year. So in that light, Carolina and Amy have identified about 70 families in the area that Carolina typically works up in the mountains that do not have access to any clean water. So what we've decided and the board's agreed to is take some of our travel funds that we typically use, again, for assistance for travel, but take those funds and use those for these 70 families for fresh water. So there is a product called Filters of Hope made in Tuscaloosa. And I think the website is filtersofhope.com. I think I sent it out yesterday, .com.org, but we can put it in the chat box too, so you can go take a look at that. But $3,500 of our travel budget we're sending to purchase these water filters. They last about 10 years. So what we're also going to ask Carolina to do for us is actually drop a GPS pin where these water filters actually are going to be located, so that when we do go back, we're going to be able to go inspect these, take pictures, meet the families, see what kind of impact that they've had since they've been installed. And so again, if you've been to Honduras, all of you know that these houses don't have an address. They're over the hill, around the corner, down 14 miles across the river, and up the hill to the left. So but we'll be checking in on those again. But I think it's a way to have an impact in Honduras when we can't be there. And we've also got a grant from district that we're going to be using as well for coronavirus relief. We've already done that already. So trying to make an impact when we can't visit, and I think it will, and we'll be able to see the fruits of our labor when those get installed when we go see it next time. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to see when we're sitting here how I know we're all here to make an impact and change people's lives for the better. So I'm proud that our club can do something like this. And just want to remind everybody, we're sitting here, but we're going to make an impact on 70 lives that don't have clean water all the way in Honduras, just because of the things that we do in this club. So thank you. Thank you, John, for that. And thank you, Amy, for bringing it up to the club, if you're on there. Dues, real quick, Bob did an update to our dues. Bob, if you don't mind mentioning how that's going to work for this quarter, and we're still going to figure out, sometime in December, we'll figure out the third quarter, but just in case there's any confusion on the invoice.
Yes, there's been a lot of questions on the dues that were sent out for this quarter. So the dues were decided to be $50 for this quarter for the main club. Satellite club stays $50 as well. If you overpaid Q1 because we did a late adjustment to Q1 where we changed it from the 150 down to the 50, you would have received a credit. And I sent the invoice still so you could see that credit. You would have had a zero balance for your dues for Q2. Still sent out for the optional $25 contribution to the foundation. So again, that is optional. People have asked about that too. If you don't pay that by the end of the quarter, I just take it out of the invoice. So it's not like you have a balance or anything like that. So that's easy to tell. If you still have remaining credits, that'll go into Q3. We haven't decided yet what the Q3 invoice will be. And when we do that, we'll adjust as necessary. Okay. Any questions? No, thanks.
All right. And my last announcement of club business is actually just introducing Melissa. We're working on, so we have our Honduras for International, and we have some local community stuff that we do. And one of the things that we do is Thanksgiving baskets that we've done for the past almost 20 years, I think. Melissa's heading that up, so she'll give a quick update on Thanksgiving.
This week or next week, be looking for an email from me to assign you the food that you will be donating for our Thanksgiving baskets. This year, we are going to be doing 30 baskets again. We're doing 10 from Madison Elementary, 10 families from West Madison, and then we're also going to be participating with Bill Holt's Claw and Still Serving Veterans to be able to do 10 of those families as well. So I'll just divide those out. You can either bring them to a meeting or Bancorp South on 72. I'll put the address in there. You can drop it off at my work at any time. And then we will also, I'll do an invite for anybody that wants to help put those baskets together. We had a great time last year putting those baskets together and just a good time and fellowship. So we'll social distance and do all that fun stuff and get all of that put together. So just be looking out for an email from me about your food assignments.
Again, these are families that wouldn't otherwise be able to enjoy the kind of Thanksgiving that some of us are blessed to enjoy. So just another little thing that our club can do to help our local community. Any other club business before we move on to kind of my few slides and then our program? Oh, thank you for bringing that up, Bob. So I don't want to take any of John Possel's thunder. We have those numbers already. I think I don't want to, usually the parish chair presents, so probably next meeting, we'll pencil in John and Alex to kind of show those numbers. But they're there already, and they're, oh, he's on the 29th? Okay. So on the 29th, which is not the next meeting, but maybe the meeting after, John will present those numbers. So, but I think we did a great job there, and John did a great job. Okay. Fred, if you don't mind pulling up my slides. So today, of course, we're going to talk about strategy and the strategic plan. Let's see if we can, there we go. We're going to talk about the strategic plan, and we have a committee. Kris is leading it. And if you go to presenter view. But before we get that, we're going to talk really quickly about the purple pinky donut drive. I know, but nobody has any questions about that. But I know Mark has his purple shirt on. And Mark, if you don't mind coming up here and giving us a quick update.
Absolutely. I am excited. Again, Mark Highsmith, and yes, I did wear purple again. And some other gentlemen in here got the memo. Purple pinky donut drive / change for change. So as he's getting up the slides, I don't think I have a slide. I just wanted to talk. I know there may be a little bit of confusion. So at this point, what we're asking is Peter sent out a lot of information about the Purple Pinky Donut Drive, or PPDD. And what we're asking now is if you're interested in ordering donuts, there's a website. It's www.purplepinkydonutdrive.org, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll send it out again. Please go on there, order your donuts. Or if you say, hey, I'm really watching my figure and I don't want the donuts, you can still donate to the Purple Pinky Donut Drive. And what we'll do, now what I think is very important about this, so I really encourage as many people to do it as possible, is that this year it's a little different. Change for Change traditionally is a 3-to-1. For every dollar, it's matched up to $3. This year, and really while we're pushing this, is with this particular one, it's going to be a 9-to-1. So for your $20 box of donuts, it's $180 going towards In Polio Now. And what we talked about, a goal was if everyone was to participate somewhere around $45, we're looking at being able to have, that is about 163 vaccinations for polio. So we're really trying to push per person, 143 vaccinations that we'll be able to give for our two areas still currently, Afghanistan and Pakistan, that it still has cases of polio. So we're really pushing it. Friday is the deadline. I know everyone's, God, Lee, is this Friday? Yes, it's Friday. So please go on. We're going to, which AKA is tomorrow. I will be reaching out to, I'm pulling down the list. All you have to do is go in and make sure you say Madison. I'm going to pick up all the donuts. I'm also going to be looking for everyone for their money. And we will, you get 20, so for $20, you get 10 donuts. And I will also, when we send it out again, Peter, I'll give the picture so you have an idea even what the donuts look like. So right there, he's great. He's great. So, but we'll push all I'll pick up the donuts on Tuesday, the 20th, which is National Polio Day, the International Polio Day. And then we will then distribute the donuts to all those who want their donuts. And then we're working also to make sure if there's any other places that we just want to drop donuts off, we'll do that as well, just as a gesture from our Rotary Club. But really need your help in going in and ordering your donuts. I will be the point of contact to pick them up. And again, I will be looking for your money soon, because I'll go and pay for everything on that day, and then we're going to work the rest out. Yes. Yes. So what the original way we planned to do it was the pod leaders would calculate everything and put everything together. But we got there's a time crunch, and there was some confusion going back and forth, making sure. So I didn't want to put all that on the pod leader. I'll take that responsibility and help out those pod leaders. So if you come to me and let me know, I have no problem. Yeah. But I am reaching out to all the pod leaders as well to make sure that we get the money. But I have seen, if you've ordered through the website, we get a spreadsheet and it's going to list everyone's name. So we'll know about that, and we'll make sure that we collect all the money. Sorry, Peter, I took too much time.
You're good, perfect. And I'll probably send one final email out about that, just as a reminder, and I'll include everybody's member number. Dennis, after I sent the email yesterday, showed me a way where you can include the member ID number. So you'll have that handy if you order through the website. Okay. Last slide for me, just a couple of things. I didn't call out birthdays and anniversaries 2 weeks ago because we had kind of a tight agenda. I'll get through this quickly. I think everybody deserves a little celebration and woohoo. So Bob, you just had a birthday recently, October 5th. Happy birthday. Art, of course, which Bob Driggers just gave us a little update, had a birthday recently, October 6th. Catherine Beadle, I think it was 2 days ago. Happy birthday, Catherine, if you're on with us. And John, a.k.a. Mr. Parrots himself, October 20th, we'll be celebrating his birthday. Yes, no, past Parrots chair. Some other birthdays, Vicky, Mark's wife, October 9th, very recently had a birthday. Congratulations, Vicky. Lisette Colson, Bill's wife, October 14th, so yesterday. Happy birthday, Lisette. And my wife, Erica, today's her birthday, so I'll be telling her happy birthday and picking her cake a little bit later, October 15th. And some wedding anniversaries. Eric and Karen had one recently, 4 years, congratulations. Emery and Tina, congratulations, Emery, I saw you on there, 11 years, going strong, October 11th. And Melissa and Kevin, Melissa's here. Is that today, Melissa? Yeah. Today, okay. Is that why you're all snazzed up? That's just work. That's just work. Oh, she just got a text from her husband and said happy anniversary. So congratulations, Melissa, 9 years. And then Mark and Denise have been together 23 years on October 17th. So congratulations to them. I'm not going to take any more of Chris's time. So we're going to go ahead and get into the strategic plan. So we have a strategic plan, a 3-year one that happens to end this year. So this is a perfect time for us to work on our next 3-year plan. So I'm working it. Kris is in charge of it. She's leading the charge. She has a committee. And then Melissa is our president nominee. So all three of us can kind of get on the same page with this 3-year strategic plan. And hopefully it gives the club some continuity and consistency. So it's a perfect time to work on this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kris and the team to go over the findings of the survey. Kris, so do you want to carry the microphone? Or do you want to kind of, so that,
All righty, the whole committee's coming up because I know we only have 20 minutes and we know what happens at 8 o'clock. People just start to leave. So next chart, please. So today's goal, we put out a survey a couple months ago, got 80%, over 80% to respond to that. So thank you for that. Thanks for your input. And we've had several discussions one-on-one in between now and then. A lot of people have contacted us, and so we appreciate everybody's input. Today, our goal is just to present the results of the surveys and maybe have a little bit discussion once the, if we can get through this, which in 20 minutes, we're not going to have time for much discussion. So our goal is to get you thinking, to get you to give us a call, or maybe we can set up some Zoom telecons if everybody wants to talk about a certain topic or something like that. If you happen to be on Zoom right now, if you'll chime in through the chat, if you'd like to be contacted about a certain subject or in on a discussion there, we'll capture the chat if we can. And then in a couple months, we'll take all the input we have today, all the discussions we have between now and then, and in December, we hope to present you with a draft. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Next chart, thanks. All righty. And we're going to switch off here.
So this slide refers to the question of how many people do you want in a club? What size should it be? So I won't read it to you, but one of the questions is cohesiveness, right? And so when you get a very large club like the downtown Huntsville Club, they tend to get in little segments, little pods where they know each other. You just can't know everyone. You can't know people's names or connect with them when their club gets very large. And so what size club do you want? And so you can read the rest of it, a different answer for the morning meetings, the morning group as opposed to the evening group.
The next one's yours too.
Okay, and so, pardon? So the next question that was mine to collate also was, what should be what should be the attendance requirement? And so you get people, I met somebody one time who was part of the downtown club. He said, I haven't been there in years, but I like what they do and I send checks. Our club has always had an emphasis on attendance. For a long time, we were first or second club in the district for high attendance. And so we have always traditionally had the perspective, you got to be here, you got to be engaged, you got to know each other, connect with each other. That's who we are. And so we see that here too.
Yeah, we can send out these charts, not a problem. All right, the next question was give your top 5 words on the club atmosphere that you would like for our club. And so this is a word cloud. It was a free form response. So this is the word cloud, just kind of takes any word that you see that's big, means a lot of people had that in their response. If there's a small one, then it was a few people. So you can kind of see that there's strong consensus on what we want. We want fun, friendly, welcoming, inclusive, compassionate, and then there's some service kinds of things in there as well. The one interesting one is that if you look down there somewhere, somebody said they wanted it to be Klein-esque. So congratulations to Ron on that. Of course, he says it might be DJ, so there you go. All right, so just a visual depiction of the responses to that. Next slide, please.
So you can see on here the big question was sunset relationships, and there was every reaction from, hey, I think everything's going well, and then there was, hey, we need to be more interaction. So what we as a club and we as a strategic plan committee need to make recommendation. How are we going to address the Sunset Club? Is it Sunset Club, Satellite Club, Madison Club, who meets at sunset, and we have a morning club? And that's what we have to discuss, because, you know, I think, and our committee thinks, I mean, for instance, Roger Cross is on board right now, and he's a member of our club. He's not the Satellite Club. Right now, he's a member of our club. So we have to figure out how we're going to address that at the end of the day.
Sure. This is your part. No. I think one of the problems we have to address is semantics. It's not the Sunset Club. I mean, the very use of the term club as opposed to morning club suggests it's two different clubs. And so somehow we need to say the Sunset Group or the morning gathering or something. But the very use of our semantics are suggesting that the two groups are more separate and distinct than what they are. So that's just sorry.
I forgot that one. All right, next slide. And then more wishes, and a lot of the top one was more engagement with both. I mean, and we put down clubs because that's what the response was, but more with the both groups. So that's all I got.
Next slide, please. Okay, I love this slide. So being the dweeby geek that I am, on the club priorities where you had to rank what was most important to least important via community service, international service, all the avenues of service, I calculated the mean, median, mode, and the most frequent response, or the top response, sorry. And no matter how I calculated it, it's a strong culture. the most important thing to our club is community service. The least important thing to our club is business networking. So you can kind of see what's important to us. Many thanks to our predecessors for creating such a strong culture. We know why we're here. This is cool. Next slide. Thank you.
Okay, so the question was, what are our top favorite five club activities? So I think the takeaway from this slide, you can see that we like being together, okay? Club socials. So that took the high marks there. We like being together in our meetings, be it sunset, be it the morning. International is up there, and we like also doing things. So the takeaway from this slide really is really we like each other, we like to be together, we like to serve with one another in the community, and we like to have a good time as well. And I think it speaks to the culture that Kris was talking about earlier. And as you look through some of these slides and see there's definitely correlation between all of these different questions that we've asked through the strategic plan about who our club is, what our club is, and what our club wants to be. And this continues to confirm that those top five that we like, that our club really is the core of our club. Next slide. Parrots is number 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like parrots too. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So next question was, what should we consider discontinuing? And in parentheses is the number of respondents to that. Okay. So as you can see, the summary is I don't know. 25, I think, people said, I don't know what we should discontinue. And I think everybody has a favorite project that we do. Some of our new members don't know what our projects are because, again, with COVID, we haven't been able to do a lot of those in person and explain those. But I think, again, we've got to decide what are our priorities. I think this is the takeaway from this slide, which is what are we going to do? Are we going to try to do everything? Are we going to focus on just a few priorities so that we engage the whole club in the work that we do versus, 2 or 3 people engaging in one topic or the next? And so I think really having a direction is really important when we set priorities on the work that we do as a club so that everybody knows their expectations. Am I, as a club member, supposed to come to all of these, volunteer with all of these, and if I don't, I'm a terrible club member? Well, no. We've just got to decide that as a club leadership and in this strategic plan. Next slide. Okay, so this is the really easy question. Not really. This is a comment about, should we consider alternate and or additional fundraising activities to parents? So we will send out here, maybe later this afternoon, we've got 2 handouts that I passed out earlier that are the full comments from all of our members in the strategic plan question to this. And so what I tried to do is just summarize on this chart what all the club's responses were. So basically, we love parrots. Our club really, really likes parrots. But overwhelmingly, people said it is an old event. It needs to be overhauled, rebranded, reimagined, re-envisioned, keep up with the times. It's got to be changed. It doesn't perform from a financial standpoint. We've been stuck at $35,000, give or take, for 10 years. And so as we look at the project, we've got to change it up. So the takeaway for club leadership in the club from this is we've got to change parrots, or we've got to do something totally different. We don't want to change parrots. We like parrots, but unless we really have a strategic, definitive, quick focus on parrots, it is something that's not going to work for us anymore. So when you see the whole comments, you can really see that that's a thread throughout all of our club about parrots. So this is something we've got to make sure we target and we focus on in club leadership. This is a big deal because this is our biggest fundraiser and it funds the things that we do in the club. Next slide. Kris?
All right, another word cloud. This was the top 5 words that describe this kind of service projects you want to do. Again, you can see what's important to us. Both community, obviously, fun in our service projects is important to us. Local and international, impactful, sustainable, all those are important to us. So another visual depiction of everyone's response. Next slide, please.
So these are responses to the 2 questions. Do we want to have a long-term sustaining project? And do we want a project, our emphasis or project to be local versus international? if I had to do it over again, I would have worded this differently, because I think what's occurred is we're inadvertently confusing local versus international and short-term versus long-term. So those got convoluted because of the way the question was posed. So you can see the result here. One of the challenges I've always thought, personal opinion with Rotary, is we have a one-year orientation, and every year a new board comes in, new president comes in, feels obliged to sort of follow the precedent, doesn't feel like he or she has the authority to set some new vision or plan, 5-year vision that's going to compel future board presidents to follow that direction. And so I think it's a shortcoming, and that's why I volunteered to be on this strategic planning committee to say, do we want to have some long-term projects, something longer term? Local, one of the problems with, and we're going to look at this more, but I'll just share with you to maybe prompt some comments. One of the problems with making a big long-term difference in our local community is we're just so dang affluent. I mean, it's hard to find a place, and what, John, 168 nonprofit organizations in our community, and we're a very affluent community. It's hard to find some place where we're going to make a really long-term difference. We can go to places like Honduras, Guatemala. We were in January, John and Dennis and I were in Guatemala and went to this school that this woman has started. Got to a village that was within commuting distance of Antigua, and started with clean water, and started with some medical care, and then started building a school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. We do something like that. I mean, that's manageable for us, instead of us 20 years from now still going down and providing care that's needed. I mean, some 5-year-old girl that's going to starting kindergarten next week could come back in 20 years and be the nurse in that village. And that's the sort of long-term real difference in lives that we can make if we decide that we want to take on a long-term sustaining project. My view, and this isn't about my view, it's about what do we want as a club, is we have more potential to do that on an international project than we do local.
Okay, so these are just additional comments. This is also in what I passed out today in the club. We'll email this later as a PDF, but summary of those responses is, again, we really people love our club. People love to be here. People love to participate, see one another. The culture that we have established in the club is awesome, and that was reflected in these additional comments. We talked a little bit about the growth piece in the club, and this was something I think Kris mentioned, or Ron mentioned in his first 2 slides on the size of the club. And so I think we probably would have worded that a little differently as far as take all the size limitations of the rooms that we meet in, or the spaces that we meet in, and what do you think the size of the club could be? So generally speaking, people in our club believe that we have an ability to grow. If we look at different spaces, some said maybe we look at the trash pandas, maybe we look at different areas that we could really grow as a club. So I think that's something we need to investigate from the consistent responses that we have, and a fine with Ron with that $1. Thank you, Ron. And then our club is about service, but we need to clarify our priorities on the work that we do and the service projects that we do. So like to be together, enjoy being together, like doing work. We believe that we can grow. It's kind of the summary of the additional comments.
Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, we're gonna just take down the presentation. Do we have a little bit of time, Peter? Okay. So as we said, those are the results of the survey. And the main thing is that you can see that we have several different things that we're really concentrating on, looking at. One is our relationship between the 2 meeting times, our priorities, what we do for fundraisers, and our service projects, what kinds those should be. So we're really interested in getting some more feedback on those areas. We think there were a lot of themes in there, but we still need some more discussion. So Peter says we have a few minutes. So if, I'm sorry, Ron wants to say something.
What's the term again?
Klein-esque. So I think, I speak for all 4 of us, that the 2 sort of big issues we've got to figure out as a club is our major fundraiser, Parrot and John's refer to that. That's not working. It's not right. We've got to figure out what to do about that. The other one that really stumps the 4 of us is this relationship between the 2 groups. And we got all sorts of comments from people in the morning group and the evening group that said, well, we're not connected enough. We don't know each other. We ought to be doing more together. I'm not sure we know how to do that. I mean, well, why don't morning people come and meet with us at the evening club grouping sometimes? Well, people come to the morning group gathering because that's the hour that works for them and their jobs and requirements. And the people go to the evening gathering because that works better for them. They're getting kids off to school. I mean, there's a reason that people are going to those two different times and those two different events. And so there's this frustration that we're not more cohesive. We don't know each other better. We're not working together. We need some, I don't know how to make that work. And so we're kind of stuck on, there's a frustration that we're not all cohesive as a single club. And yet you got two distinct groups that are meeting at separate times and developing relationships. I think when we get off COVID-19 and we can have more socials, that'll help. But is it even achievable to expect that two distinct groups that are meeting and have their own friendships and their own relationships and own face-to-face can come together as a single cohesive club?
Is there an action? Oh, you still have time.
We still have time. So yeah, just in the time that we have, if the folks on Zoom can kind of put some comments into chat so that we can follow up on. And if there's anybody in the room that has any comments, we'd love to get a little bit of feedback before Peter runs us out of here. And many thanks to Peter for asking us to do this. Yes.
We can repeat it.
Okay, so I kind of have a two-fold thing. One was talking about how do we bring those two clubs together, especially as a new guy. I think one of the things is just going to be exposure, but with COVID, it's understandable. I think looking in the future, maybe there's a quarterly something to happen, a function that we put together where you take the morning and the evening, and it's a quarterly event a quarterly social event or a quarterly event that happens, and then that's the way to bring those two clubs together.
So Mark, if you didn't hear on Zoom, Mark Highsmith says is maybe doing a quarterly social event, bringing the two groups together and interacting and having a fun time.
So before COVID, we did that monthly, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, and then weekly. And then my next thing was, and this is one thing that I've been looking at, and it's kind of a struggle for me, is I think in Madison, as a person living in Madison and wanting to live the rest of my life in Madison, is trying to understand the proper what service assessment is being done in our community. So how do we plug into that? And it seems to me that we have a lot of entities that are doing things, but it's not necessarily connected. So trying to understand what the need is in the community and how we get after that need, because I know and I'm a part of other nonprofit organizations, and we do a lot of stuff. And I'm trying to say this very nicely, what bothers me sometimes is that it seems like my focus always goes back to Huntsville. But I know that there are families and there's some communities that are underserved. How do we do the proper assessment so we can find those and service them as an organization?
Yeah, so I think number one, again, the club said we've got to look at our priorities of the work that we do. And the priorities have to be based on our Rotary mission and the avenues of service that we're here to execute. And so our club service directors and others. And so I think that's the question of the priorities. Where do the needs like that we can have that needs assessment and find out those areas that we can impact through the Rotary mission. We can't work on everything. We can do anything. We just can't do everything. And so we've got to, I think, target that priority of what we do and why we do it to meet those needs in the community once we know those and partner with other organizations to figure that out.
Kris, what can we as a club do for this group between now and December? What do you want us to do?
We want to know your thoughts. So either give us a call, shoot us an email. If there's enough people that shoot us an email on a topic, perhaps we'll schedule some Zoom happy hours. How would that be? Or we can actually spend some time talking about this and doing some brainstorming. But it's not a strategic plan committee plan. It's a club plan. And so we really want everybody's input and really want to know what everybody's thinking.
And one of the things that we were talking about is maybe we form a subcommittee out of this for parrots, right? And what do we do with it?
Yeah, I would just final comment on parrots. I think we have to do that. You know, I think we have to be very specific in the majority of the club said, we've got to change it. It can't be the same, period. So we've really got to be targeted on what 2021 looks like as we head to parrots. Start now so that we've got time to do something, think, talk, and engage, and make parrots what it needs to be.
Dennis is holding his grandbaby right now.
No.
Dennis is holding the grandbaby.
Oh, man.
All right. So thank you, Kris. Thank you to the committee that's leading our strategic plan. Round of applause. That is a tiny, tiny baby. Yeah. So I won't keep you anymore, but again, thank you to the leadership for Kris and John and Ron and Carrie. I think it's so far it's looking good. And I look forward to seeing the fruits of that labor in December. But again, they'll send that plan out, or I'll send that plan out, or the slides that they just put together. There's some questions on there. Just reply to that if you have some feedback or comments, or if you have feedback or comments on other things that aren't in that presentation, please send that to Kris, and we'll keep working on that. So on that note, and on Dennis holding the baby note, we'll go ahead and stand for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, first. Second. Third. And fourth. All right. Thank you all. Have a great Thursday.